body, speech, and mind held in perfect oneness. I send my heart along with the sound of the bell. May the hearers awaken from forgetfulness and transcend all anxiety and sorrow.
Ba nghiệp lắng thanh tịnh, gửi lòng theo tiếng chuông. Nguyện người nghe tỉnh thức, vượt thoát nẻo đau buồn.
Good morning, my dear brothers, sisters, and friends. Today is the first Sunday of the year, January the 3rd, 2016. We are having our weekly public service. It is also beginning of the year, so my first word I would like to wish you all a happy new year and with all the best to you in the coming year. Every year we used to have a winter retreat for the young friends at the Westlock Meditation Center. Usually about 50 to 60 of the young friends will attend the retreat from 13 years older. And this year we have about 50, 60 friends gathering in the Westlock Center and having fun together and practice together in the Westlock Center from 28 to 31 of December. So we try our best to conduct a retreat like that in order to invite all the young friends together so they have a chance to be together in a very healthy way. When you have a break, winter break after school, you ask yourself, what do you do at home? Just sleep, eat, play. That's okay, but that's kind of waste. So if you make your effort to come to something like that, you have a chance to learn from your friends. You have a chance to learn from your teachers, from your elder brothers, sisters. And also you have a chance to meet more spiritual friends. Not only friends in school, not only friends online, but you also have a real friend, but who is able to give you support and guidance. In the retreat like that, we used to divide into groups in your age only, so you can express your problems. Whatever you hold inside of you for a long time, you may not have a chance, or you do not dare to express that to your parents or someone who is older than you, but as friends together. And we have young monks to sit there with you as same age with you. They can help you to listen to you, and all your friends help you to overcome or to relieve your suffer. We have a place here in Westlock. We have the monks here to help you. And if you do not know how to use the chance like that is a kind of waste. During this winter break, there was a young friend who talked to me. He expressed about his struggling, his difficulties, his problems. So one day, I and him practiced walking meditation. We walked from the dining hall to the meditation hall. And on the way we walk, I stop and I point to him a very tiny wild grass stand still in a very thick snow. And I show him, did you see this little tree, this little branch? Very tiny, very thin, very soft, but still stand still, fresh in the snow. You and this plant compare. Who is bigger? You bigger. But how come you cannot stand in your problem? The cold weather, the snow symbolizes for difficulties. Each of us is like that branch. It's like that tiny wild grass. But if we learn the lecture to live, we always have the way. There is always a way. There is nothing in this life called the end of the world. So every problem, we have solution. So as a young person, you are slowly walk into life. Sometimes you face a little bit difficulty, you already feel, the end of the world. You already angry, you already upset, and that will make your life more struggling, more difficulty, and you cannot stand up in your future. In my practice, when I take a walk, I used to pay attention down on the ground to see there are so many tiny trees, tiny plants, tiny grass, but they stand up and they grow very beautifully. And I used to reflect on all of that in order to learn, to give myself a lecture to live. None of the things that we do always easy. Sometimes you go to school, you must have something difficulty in order to give you a challenge. If you in grade 8 or grade 9, your math only adding and subtracting, you don't want it. So boring. You want something else, new. So it helps you to work with your brain, work with your wisdom. So remember, there is always a way. After I talked to him, I told him, why don't you take a camera and take this picture and let this picture become the wall screen for your cell phone. So every time when you have difficulties, you almost give up, and this picture will give you the strength, the lecture. So he ran into his room and get a camera and he took the picture. This morning, he emailed me. He said, Thầy, thank you, Thầy, and all the friends, the senior who helped us to conduct a beautiful retreat like this. I have learned a lot from you, from many others. He fly back to his hometown 6 a.m. So we must bring him to the airport around 3 in the morning. 2 a.m. I went down to the kitchen. I make him sandwich. When I walk into his room, he still sleep. So I leave lunch on his luggage. And he told me in his email, when I hold up your sandwich, I cannot hold my tears because I can see your love, your care in that piece of sandwich. Thầy, I have learned that living is not only for ourselves, but we also live for others. The Buddhas advise us, when we say something, when we do something, not only to please ourselves, to benefit ourselves, but always reflect on the others. Make sure when we do something, we say something, not only us happy, but we must sure that the others also happy. And this is the Buddhist practice. You don't have to be believe in a religion, because religion only belief. But in Buddhist practice, Buddhism is not a religion, it's the way to live. So any way that you can find yourself the way to live, the way to live happily and also make the others happy. And this is the Buddhist practice. So how can we stand up? How can we deal with difficulties in our daily life? We always have problems, one by one. Maybe we finish this and we go to the next chapter, it's even harder. When you go to school, the beginning of the year, in September, some chapter very easy. But slowly, the more you move in, the more you receive a lot of challenge from those chapters. So life is the same. Life is the same. The more you grow up, the more you move deeper into life, the more problems you have. But every single problem always have an answer. It's like your math. They give you the problem, but they have the answer already at the back of the book. So do not just turn to the back and copy the answer. You have the right answer, but you don't know how to solve it. And your teacher will never give you mark on that. They want to see how can you get this answer. So in my practice, I used to reflect on each day that's go through. So calming your mind is one of the important practice that we all need to have. Calming ourselves. What happened to us? We have the fast react. We have a very hot temper. It's very easy to explode if anything that come to us. We don't have enough patience. We don't have enough calm in ourselves in order to face and deal every single thing. And that will let the others understand very clear about who we are and how we are. So if they want to hurt us, they just say something. They know we are the person that get a very hot temper, very easy to get angry. So if they want to make you into the trouble, they just say something, they do something, you fall in their trap. So therefore, learn to be calm is very needed. Every time when you say something, before you say it, stop at least 50 seconds to reflect. Sometimes you want to say something to your friend, to your mother, you must plan inside of you. How can I express this so they can get my idea? It's like a teacher or a speaker who need to stand up and give a lecture or to speak on something. They must plan in their head how they start and how they end. How can they explain something so people can get their idea in a very easy way. Short, simple, easy to understand. So to calm your mind is very needed. How to calm your mind? Stop before you say. Reflect few minutes or few seconds before you say something, before you express or before you react. Second thing that we also learn to practice, do not focus to negatives. Focus to positive more in order to give you more energy to live. Like the chanting that we just chant this morning. When you reflect on yourself and you see that you still have the two eyes to see, your ears still can hear, your nose still can smell, your tongue still can taste, your body still can touch, your mind still can feel. It is a pleasure. Then I will use this pleasure how to create more happiness for myself. Let's see, we have the eyes to see. But if we only see things and we name it wrong, then we unhappy. But if we name it, it's okay, better, it's all right. Why? How come we always say it's wrong? When you name it's wrong, you make yourself feel uncomfortable. But if you say it's all right, it's okay, you feel better and you make the others also feel better. When you hear something, instead of explode your anger, why don't you reflect why it's happened? So one of the things that to help you to overcome difficulties, think about the positive. Do not worry so much about the negatives. Because in this life there are so many things that we are able to focus on. There was a teacher who held up a piece of paper and asked his students, do you see something? And the whole class said, yes, I see a little dot on the piece of paper. And the teacher said, you are not wrong. But how come this whole piece of paper, you only can see one dot on the piece of paper? Why don't you see the whole piece of paper? So this is who we are. We used to focus tiny thing like a dot. The dot there symbolizes for negatives. There was a group of students who looked out the window. And they saw a couple, young couple on the street. They hold their hands and sometimes they turn around and they kiss each other. And the whole class laughed. And the teacher asked, why you laugh? And they said, that's gross. That's wrong. That's not right. Something like that. And the teacher said, why don't you think that's love? If you think that's love, things will be better. In this life, what one of the qualities that we need for life? Love. When you live with full of love, you can make a lot of people happy and you also happy. When you help someone, you see they appreciate you. It's also very happy. So the second thing that we can learn from is think positive, be calm. And the third thing that we can learn, smile. Every morning when we wake up, the first thing we do is smiling. Why we smile? Is that crazy? Is that something weird? No, it's not. It reminds us you have a new day to live. As a monk, every morning when we wake up, this is the prayer we used to say. Wake up this morning, I smile. I know that I have 24 brand new hours to live. And I vow to look this life with the eyes of love. That is the prayer, that is the verse, that is the gatha we used to say every morning when we wake up. When you wake up, you give yourself a positive energy. How wonderful, I have a new day to live. But if you say, oh my God, school again, and then you feel yourself tired. But if you wake up and you say, how wonderful, I have a new day to live, then you will see your day is full of energy. Yesterday, I was back from Calgary. When I stepped into the temple, I feel uncomfortable. I got flu. And then after that, I need to take some Tylenol and do some work. Later on, I have fever. For the whole night, I cannot sleep. And I think that this morning, I don't have enough energy to be with the service. But when I come up here at 6 o'clock, I do 30 minutes of sitting meditation. I gain back my energy. And I'm here with you this morning. Even last night, I don't have a minute to sleep. But I know that today is Sunday. In our temple here, we have Sunday service. A lot of people will come, and I need to give a hand for the service. Then I gain my energy, and I feel happy to do all the work. Sometimes I'm so tired, because last week we have 3 days for retreat for the adults. And then we also have 4 days for the young friends in Westlock. But I'm happy because I know that I did not waste even few last day of the year. We have done something for the community, for our brothers, for our sisters. So today, beginning of the year, I would like to share with you briefly the energy to live, the energy to start for your new year. Smile more, think positive, and be calm. And if you have to face with difficulties, remind yourself, there is always a way. Even when you turn on the wrong exit, don't worry. They have an exit. You turn in the wrong, there is a way for you to come out. When you set up the GPS, they show you this way, but by accident you pass, they will say, in the next 300 meters, turn right, turn left. They show you the way to return. Or they give you the new way to get to your destination. So when I look at that, and I see this is the life. Accidentally you have done something, don't worry. It's still a chance for you to fix it. It's like when you cook. When you cook, you always have something else to transform your cooking if you do it wrong. When you taste something, it's too salty, add a little bit more water. Squeeze in a piece of limes. You give your dish different taste. If it's salty, don't just sit there and blame. There is a way, just a little trick. You make your dish better. You know, in our temple, when we arrange the flower, some of the branch very beautiful, and we don't want to waste it because it's kind of expensive. So we use the spray, the glue, to spray on with different color. We reuse it. Each of us, we have the almond bowl. But if that almond bowl is not cannot use anymore, we can use as a different thing. Every time when we come to the new year, we reflect. We have a chance to reflect. What can I do for the next coming year? So may the Buddha bless us all with this coming new year and be happy and always try to practice 3 things. Stay calm, more positive thinking, and also smile every time when you need to deal with something. Because just smiling give people feel comfortable. Before you express your uncomfortable feelings, you can smile and give that person a beautiful way that they feel comfortable with your sharing. When you talk with someone, but their face not look not happy, then you feel worried. But if you talk with that person make you feel comfortable, and it's easier for you to accept their correction. Thank you for your listening, and once again, Happy New Year.